Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all our listeners who are joining us live on YouTube. Good morning to all listeners who are joining us live here on TikTok. And good morning to those who are here on the Podbean app. To our new subscribers, we appreciate you. To those who continue to like, share, and comment these videos, we appreciate you. And we would like to get feedback from you as it relates to what you grabbed from our content, and also some suggestions from you about some topics that you'd like us to talk about as it relates to men's mental health, because that's what we are all about. We are here to continue to proceed with this campaign every single day, 5 days a week, right here on XY Spark. We will be talking about men's mental health awareness, and we want to continue to have these conversations as we are embarking on shifting the scope, guys. We are embarking on shifting the lens that men are viewing their mental health from. Why? Because mental health is not a myth. Men's mental health is in crisis. And we want to continue to have conversations about men's mental health until more and more men, more of us, more men are coming out of the woodwork, are coming out of that place of shame, coming out of that place of feeling weak, coming out of that place of, the disappointment, coming out of the cultural norms and expectations, and acknowledging that my mental health is my responsibility and I'm going to make it a priority. So today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. And we are here to say it's time to take things back. So we refer to today as Take Back Tuesday. What are you struggling with? What are some of those things that you need to take your life back from? That you need to regain the control? Our topic today, our topic today, our topic today, guys, is how to know when your mental health needs CPR, how to spot a deteriorating mental health, how to know when your mental health needs CPR. And guys, we are going to have a not so comfortable conversation today. But as one person would say, we have to learn to be uncomfortable so that we can get comfortable. So we are talking about men's mental health, and we want to talk about how do you know when your mental health needs CPR on our theme or caption today, Take Back Tuesday. Take Back Tuesday. To all our live viewers, we want to acknowledge you. You're on TikTok, we acknowledge you. If you're live here on YouTube, we acknowledge you. If you're here on the Podbean app, we want to say thank you for making XY Spark the place that you start, or where you start your day, rather. So let's jump right into our conversation. How do you know when your mental health needs CPR? What are some of the warning signs that as a man you need to look for, you need to recognize, to be able to say, hey, my mental health is not where it is supposed to be? So let's talk about that. Let's dive right into that. Some of the signs that we need to be looking for to know when our mental health is out of sync is if we are isolating a lot more than we normally would. If you are isolating, if you are staying away from interacting with friends, with family, with coworkers, if you're isolating much more than normal, then something is going on that needs to be addressed. Your mental health needs CPR. So, number one sign to look for is if there is isolation. Number two, the second sign to look for to know when your mental health is out of sync is if you're constantly on a short fuse. You get angry more more often than you normally would. You are very intolerant. You fly off the handle more frequently than you would. It takes nothing to trigger you. It means that your mental health needs CPR. All right. So sign number one, if you're isolating. Sign number two, if you're on a short fuse and you're finding less and less intolerant to connect with people. Your mental health needs attention. Hey, I see one of my top fan. I see you there, Ronaldo. Good to have you. Good morning to you. Wherever you're joining us from, please, guys, those who are live on TikTok, just say where you're joining us from. We appreciate you. Send a shout out to all those who are live. So second sign to know that your mental health needs CPR is if you're on a short fuse. The third thing to know if you're on your mental health needs CPR is if you're more anxious than normal, right? And sometimes some of us as men, because we were not taught how to feel. We were not taught how to stay in tune with our emotions. We do not allow ourselves to feel. So when we don't, we're not even, many of us as men, we're not even willing to acknowledge that we are anxious, right? So what does anxiety feel like? Let's talk about what anxiety feels like a little bit. Okay. One of the big pieces to look for when you're feeling anxious is that you have become more future thinking, right? All the things that you think about is more in the future, and whenever you think about things that are in the future, you feel knots in your stomach. Okay. You start to do what we call overthink. You are dwelling on the what ifs. You are coming up with worst case scenarios more often than not. Okay. When you're doing that, those are signs and symptoms of anxiety. And so if you are starting to feel anxious more often than not, your mental health needs CPR. Now, I want to put it out there to say, hey, every single one of us will experience some anxiety at some time or the next. The issue with it is if the anxiety is preventing us from reaching our goals or from living our day-to-day life. Pardon me, right? So that is the thing that becomes a killer. That is the thing that sort of gets us to that place where we need to attend to our mental health. When our mental health needs CPR is oftentimes when we are going through the anxiety. Hey, I see you, Sergi. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. All right. And if you want to join in the conversation, please come on in, guys. We're more than welcome to have you. Let's talk about, how to know when your mental health needs CPR. I also want to say to all live viewers here that we are offering live life coaching right here in this podcast. So guys, this podcast is unscripted, so don't believe that if you come in to ask a question, I'm going to say, hey, I can't talk to you. You have to stick to the script, right? Everything that we do here on XY Spark, we try to be as authentic and in the moment as is possible. So if you'd like to join our live conversation, please do so. If you have a question, please do so. So we talked about three things already that's going to help you to spot when your mental health needs CPR. The fourth thing that is going to be very important for us to acknowledge or to know rather when our mental health needs CPR is if we are experiencing more depression. Depression. Now remember this, guys. Remember that the next piece that we have to really work on as men is to allow ourselves to feel so that we can be more in touch with our emotions. And when you're in touch with our emotions, we'll be able to pinpoint that, hey, I'm feeling a bit depressed, which means I'm dwelling more on the mistakes that I made in the past. I'm spending more time, in lack of motivation. I'm not doing anything, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not engaging anything. All right. I'm dwelling on the past. I'm not able to live in the present. I'm self-blaming. I'm doing more self-critical thinking. I'm having more rational thoughts. Oftentimes, these are signs that we are depressed and our mental health needs CPR at that time. I want to encourage all my viewers, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on the Podbean app, please, guys, like, share, invite somebody to come and be a part of this conversation. If you have a question, please type it in the chat. We'll be more than happy to speak to it in the moment. Okay. If you'd like to join our conversation, please feel free to do so. We'd love to have you to hear your feedback. And if something that is going on here in the content, is resonating with you, then please let us know so we can have more conversations like this. So we talked about 4 things already that pinpoints when your mental health needs CPR. Number 1, we talk about isolating. Okay. Number 2, we talk about, knowing the warning signs, anxiety. All right, we spoke a little bit about what that looks like. We talk about depression, we spoke about what that looks like. We talk about anger. And if you're getting more angry than norm, if you're more short fused, if you're not interacting, then your mental health needs CPR. Here are some other things that is going to be a warning sign if your mental health needs CPR. If you are using alcohol more frequently than norm, if you're drinking more often than norm, if you find that, while you're isolating, because for a lot of us, many men, they're closet drinkers. If you find that you're isolating and you're drinking a lot more than normal, your mental health needs CPR. All right. And that is sometimes the easiest thing for us to do as men. Here in Canada, I'm not sure where you are, but there's a liquor store in every corner here in Canada. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And I know that those who may be entrepreneurs or business people, they may be saying, is Rolando trying to, run me out of business? And I guarantee you, all those are in that field. Me talking about it here is not going to run you out of business, because trust me, these conversations have been going on for centuries, for decades. But I have to mention it here that if you're drinking a whole lot more than norm, your mental health needs CPR. Because the thing is, what is pushing you to that space what are you trying to drown out? Okay? What's going on? So if you're drinking a lot more than you normally would, your mental health needs CPR. Now, here's another piece. There are people who smoke and there are people who smoke. All right? If you are smoking a lot more than norm, your mental health needs CPR, right? The reality of it is recognizing and knowing the signs and the symptoms that is, exposing those internal struggles is important. And we have to know what those are. Because when that is happening to you, your mental health needs CPR. So if you're smoking more than norm, your mental health needs CPR. If you're more insecure, which means you're in a relationship, but you're more controlling, okay? You're always questioning, you're not trusting, it's hard for you to trust, then guess what? Your mental health needs CPR. Yes, guys, I'm saying it. If you're a man and you're very controlling, you don't trust, all right? You're always, wondering and creating scenarios, and your mental health needs CPR. So if you're a man and you are doing this, you need to attend to your mental health. You've got to pause and ask, where is the insecurity coming from? Why am I insecure? Why is it hard for me to trust? What do I need to do differently as a man so that I can be confident in my relationship? If you're a very insecure man, in your relationship, your mental health needs CPR. So you have got to work on that so that you can heal. All right. Here's another thing. And this one may be speaking to a specific group of people. If you are constantly having nightmares, if you're constantly having flashbacks, your mental health needs CPR. You may work in certain fields, right? You may be a paramedic, you may be an RCMP officer, you may be a military person, you may be a nurse, you may be a doctor, right? And if you find that you're having these, and this is what we call PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, if this is happening to you, your mental health needs CPR. And you have that responsibility to go and get support to address your mental health, because if this is happening, your mental health needs CPR. If you are involved in drug use, whether it is marijuana, cocaine, meth, whatever it is, and you are using drugs a lot, your mental health needs CPR. And guys, what I'm saying here might not be the most craved after topic. Why? Because yes, many persons say, of course, Rolando, marijuana is not legalized, so why are you talking about it? I'm saying that recognizing the reality that if I am over using even marijuana, right? And marijuana is a drug, whether we accept that or not. There are a lot of pharmacological stuff that they too are drugs. All right. So if we're overusing, even if the marijuana is prescribed, if we're overusing, our mental health needs CPR. And we have got to take ownership of that. That's how we are going to grow. That's how we're going to heal. That's how we're going to take our lives back from anything that is mental health oriented. So, those are some of the signs, those are some of the symptoms, those are some of the things to look for when our mental health needs CPR. Here's something else. If you are somebody who you are involved in a lot of high risk activity, excuse me, high risk activity, whatever that looks like, your mental health needs CPR. Okay? And some of the high risk activities that we talk about is, and yes, guys, I'm going to go there. If you are someone, if you're a man, and more and more and more, you are not able to stay in a committed relationship, you're jumping from partner to partner, your mental health needs CPR. And the funny piece is, in our social context, a lot of us as men, we have normalized those behaviors, thinking it's cool, I'm a real man, I'm an alpha male because I have all these different partners. But guys, if you are doing that, your mental health needs CPR. You have got to stop and acknowledge and ask yourself, what is it that I'm searching for? What is it that I'm craving after? When will I be able to know and acknowledge that yes, enough is enough? So if you're living your life that way, this is sort of a high risk lifestyle. And it's important for you to pause and ask what you can do differently to address that, because your mental health needs CPR. If this is the kind of behavior that you have accepted as normal, that's not normal behavior. That's behavior that needs to be attended to. So your mental health needs CPR if you are that guy that's living your life that way, and if you have normalized those behaviors. So what do we do as we get to that place where we recognize that our mental health needs CPR? Because it is important to remember this, guys, that knowing is useless without doing. So it doesn't matter how much you know. The important piece is what you're going to do. And I want to just put it out there that I am already acknowledging this big reality that to admit that your mental health needs CPR is not an easy thing, because depending on how we view it, it can be received by a lot of us as men, or it can be rejected. Receiving it is a good first step. Acknowledging it is a good second step. Seeking now to get supports to deal with the issue is a good third step. And then going forward and doing the work is the fourth step, and oftentimes the hardest step. Why? Because it's going to take time to repair and reset our mental health. So where are you at? How is your mental health? From listening to this podcast today, are you familiar with anything that was said? Does anything that was said here resonates with you? And if it did, I want to challenge you to take the lead now and go forth and do the work. Because if your mental health needs CPR, then it's possible to repair it and to restore it. All right. I want to just pause here to just give a shout out to all my live, those who are live here on TikTok. Hey, we see you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Sergit, I see you. All right. Guys, you're more than welcome to come into the space and ask any questions you'd like to ask. I want to send a shout out to all my viewers, those who are here on YouTube. We see you. Thank you for being here on XY Spark. And to regular listeners on Podbean, we just want to say to our listeners, if you want to hear this broadcast again, please follow us on XY Spark at podbean.com. You can go back and listen to these episodes. You can like, you can share, you can download, you can put a comment. If there's a topic that you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to do so. Keep those likes coming on TikTok, guys. Keep those gifts coming. And, we just want to say to you guys that we appreciate your presence 100%. And we in no way take for granted the sacrifice that you're making to be here with us every single day. We are here live every morning at 5:30 a.m. just to talk about men's mental health and what we can do and what we need to do to improve men's mental health. So, guys, I want to just say to you, reiterate the value that if you recognize that your mental health needs CPR, then you've got to take the lead and take the initiative, go out there and do the work, and you've got to be committed to following through with doing this work and keep doing it. Because why we have to keep doing this work is because of this, guys. It's because personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And so it's a shift in your lifestyle that is going to shift the lens, shift your perspectives. It's what is going to help your mental health to improve so that you can be a better father, a better brother, a better employer or employee, that you can be a better professional, and you can have healthier personal relationships. That's going to improve the way you live your life and the way your relationships go from day to day. Guys, I'm excited, and I just want to say thank you for being here one more time on our podcast. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. I want to challenge you to go out there today and take your life back. Take back your life. Take back control of your mental health. It's your responsibility. And because it's not a myth, as men, I want to start to make an appeal to you. But let the appeal start with me. The appeal is this: I acknowledge that my mental health is my responsibility. Can you say that with me wherever you are? You're live on YouTube. TikTok, can you say that with me? My mental health is my responsibility. Guys, thank you so much. You've been a great audience. I appreciate you. Thank you to all those who continue to like, share, and comment. I appreciate you more than you know. And as usual, we just continue to reiterate this reality that at XY Spark, we believe that there is a spark in you. We will see you again next time. You guys have a fantastic day.